Hey friends, welcome back to She's in Her Element. If you're new here, my name is Sean. If you're returning, welcome back to my home. I'm super happy you all decided to tune into this one. I was actually inspired by Becky at Acre Homestead. I watched her make her Oreos and her Goldfish crackers rather. And I'm not a fan of chocolate and Oreos, so that didn't appeal to me, but I mean, they looked amazing. She did a great job. The Goldfish crackers looked absolutely delicious, and that's something I think I'm definitely going to give a try someday because my grandbabies and my husband actually really like Goldfish crackers. But I was thinking like, oh, that's such a neat idea to copycat a snack. I have a million copycat recipes for food, like copycat Kentucky Fried Chicken, copycat Chick-fil-A sauce. There's a copycat recipe for everything out there that you truly love. And I said, well, what about snacks and sweets? What is something really cool that would be super fun to try to recreate at home? And my husband and my grandchildren and my daughter all said, Ma, make a Twinkie. I'm like, a Twinkie, really? Well, wouldn't you know, they do have a copycat recipe for Twinkies, and you can even buy the Twinkie pan to make them in the correct shape. So this order got to me from Amazon. My jiggler and my funnel are still lost, but I got my Twinkie pan. So this is what we're going to go with tonight, and tonight we are actually going to recreate the Twinkie. An all-American, yummy, classic snack that almost became extinct for a while there. I can actually remember when Twinkies was stopping the production, you could find boxes of Twinkies on eBay for like $100, $150 for a box of Twinkies. I've been a Twinkie junkie my whole life. I love Hostess Twinkies. They are absolutely delicious. But I would not be paying $150 for a box of Twinkies. And I really want to try and see if this recipe recreates that infamous classic Twinkie taste. And everything sounded like it did. Like there's a bunch of recipes online and I started reading through them all. And I actually thought this one was the best. So this is the one we're going to go with. I actually have my oven preheating at 350 degrees, which is what it calls for. I am going to remove the packaging from my Twinkie pan, and I'm going to wash it up, get everything I need together, and then I'll be back. I sure hope you're going to join me for this. And I don't think you want to miss a Twinkie. I know I wouldn't. I'll be back in a few. All right. So the ingredients that you need to actually make the Twinkies, and if you don't get it now, don't worry, I will link this in the description below. But the ingredients you need to actually make the Twinkies cake itself will be 4 eggs, a half a cup of butter that's melted, and then you let it cool down to room temperature, which we have here. You're going to need a cup of water, which we have right here. You're also going to need some vanilla pudding mix, which is 5.1 ounces, and that is exactly what size this pudding mix is. And then it says you're going to need 18.25 ounces of yellow cake mix. I am a custom cake mixer. I do not use cake mixes, so I really wasn't aware that a box is only 15.25 ounces. So I want to do this recipe exactly as it says. I've never made it. I don't want to deviate as I normally would from a recipe because I want to make sure that I get the Twinkie exactly as it says to do it. So I'm going to actually put a bowl on my scale and I'm going to zero that out. And what I'm going to do is I bought 2 things of the yellow cake mix and I'm going to put those in there so that I can get up to the 18.25 ounces. So one gave me 15.5. Should have been 25, but we'll see. All right, so 15, 16, 17. Need a little bit more. I'm gonna go to the 3. There we go. All right, all that added together will be the 18.5 ounces of yellow cake mix. I have no idea what I will do with the rest of this yellow cake mix, but I will find something to do with it. So, let's get rid of this. All right, it says preheat the oven to 350. We have that happening. I am going to add my eggs into the bowl, and it's 4 eggs. Mine are farm fresh eggs straight from my chickens. They're golden little butt nuggets from today. But I am going to actually crack them individually into a bowl. So that way if there's anything bad, I'll know and it won't contaminate the rest of my ingredients. Nope, we are good. So there's 1. 2. My eggs are delicious. Look at that beautiful golden yolk. There's 3. And 4. Okay, the first thing it's going to tell us to do is to beat the eggs until they're combined. So that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't say anything about making them frothy or anything, just combined. So that's what we're going for. That looks like it's nice and combined. You see that? All right, our 4 eggs are in the mixer. We have mixed them up. Let's give them one more little zhoosh. And then it says that we need to stir in our melted butter, which we have let cool to lukewarm. That is mixing up nicely. Now it says to add the water, which is 1 cup of water. We're going to add the pudding mix. How fabulous will this be if it actually works? And then we're going to add our flour. I mean, not flour, cake mix. What am I talking about? I'm just going to add it slowly. I don't want to go too fast. I want it to incorporate nicely. Now, it does say in the directions that the batter is going to be very thick. And I can see that it actually is very thick. So, I think we're doing it right. That looks like it is combined nicely. Look at that. That actually looks really good. Now you should never ever eat raw batter because of salmonella and blah blah blah, but I'm gonna try this. It's been a while, but that kind of tastes like a Twinkie. That's good. All right, so the next step is to put our batter into this pan. I do not need to spray this pan. This is a non-stick official Twinkies pan. You can get it right off of Amazon. I will also include that in the description below, so you have a link for that. But what I think I'm going to do is use my cookie scoop for the batter to get these filled in. So let me grab that and get this going. Okay, it does not tell me how much batter to put in these pans. So this, I'm actually that is a very thick batter. Look at that. Yeah, you definitely need to use a cookie scoop to do this. And then, let me see. I don't know if I should use an inverted spatula like for my cakes or what, because it doesn't tell me anything other than to spread them evenly. So that's what I'll do. Looks good enough to me. Now it says that this recipe will make 16 Twinkies. My pan holds 8, so that means I will have to do this twice, which is fine. And while these batches are cooking, I can actually work on tonight's dinner, which is another amazing thing from the pantry challenge. Trying to recycle my freezer, and I need to use up products that literally have been sitting there, and I found pork chops that need to be used, so that is what we are going to have for dinner tonight. I have some nice fresh asparagus in the fridge, I believe, and we'll just make some rice to go with it. Let's see. I have no idea how much batter I'm supposed to put in. I don't know how much this is going to rise. So we're gonna figure it out, and if I have to, I'll just level them like I do my cakes. It's not a big deal if this is too much, which it probably is. But again, this is a learning curve. I've never done these before, and I don't know how to fill them. It doesn't say how much. I know with cupcakes you don't generally fill them, but I don't know what this batter is going to do. The pudding throws me off. I think it's still just going to rise. but we'll see. We shall see. Let's move this out. Yeah. And yeah, I'm just using a regular knife. Probably will grab my inverted spatula for the next batch, but the knife does seem to be working just fine. So, I guess it really doesn't matter. This is a super thick batter, my goodness. I've just never seen a batter this thick. And we have one more. Okay, so, and now I'm going to take our Twinkies and I'm going to pop them in the oven that has been preheating at 350. And it says that it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. What we're looking for is a cake that springs back when you touch it, and also one that comes out completely clean when you put a toothpick in it. So let's get this batch going. I am super excited for this. Fingers crossed. Can I just say, my house smells like a Twinkie factory right now. I might be onto something with this recipe, and I'm kind of glad I picked this one, so we'll see. But it definitely smells like a Twinkie factory. Oh, I love a Twinkie. I can't wait to try these. Okay, so I just peeked in the oven. And you definitely do not want to fill those pans up to the tippity top. It's going over and out. So we're gonna fill the next ones up halfway, and I will fix these ones when they come out. Just like I level a cake, I will level these Twinkies and make them usable and salvageable. But I wasn't sure what the dough was going to do, so I didn't know how high to fill it. Lesson learned, halfway, 2/3, no more. Next one will be good. I will show you this one when they come out so you can see what not to do. It's the best thing about these videos, especially if something goes wrong and we show it to you. It's not admitting our weakness. We all have weakness. It's learning from each other so we will not make these same mistakes twice. This is a lesson. Okay, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek so you know what not to do. And thank goodness I have a mat on the bottom because these are really going up and over. But I will be able to save them because I'll just slice off the tops. So, don't fill them that high. Okay, I want to share with you guys that was an absolute epic fail. They did not come out of the pan. They stuck even though it says non-stick. I filled it way too much. Overflowed into my oven. It went everywhere. But had it not have gone wrong, I mean, that looks like a Twinkie. I had to cut the bottoms trying to save them, and it just didn't work. But I will tell you, it tastes like a Twinkie. So my husband came in, saw all that was going on, and said, do not throw these away. Put them in a baggie. I will snack on them later. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to refill our Twinkie pan, and I'm only going to go half because this is a very thick batter. So I think 2 scoops of my cookie dough scooper should do it, and I'll level them as best I can, and I'll get those into the oven. So I won't have as many as I was hoping the first time around. That's fine. This is the first time I've done it. It's all a learning experience to see what I can figure out, and I figured out what not to do. So now I'm going to refill these 2 scoops, flatten it, pop them back in. Wish me luck this time. Okay, let's try this. The 1. And a 2. Now I will use my knife, get this in there as even as possible. Might think that is better. I don't know if you can see that depth, but I definitely think that's better. So yeah, we're gonna do the 2 scoops, call it a day. I think this is going to be much better. And I'm hoping I can get a pan, at least 1 pan out of them. That's why directions are critical, and giving good directions is also critical. This particular recipe I don't feel had very good directions. It doesn't say much about how the dough will react or how much to fill it. I mean, common sense does tell you to do it like a cupcake, but again, you don't know until you get there. So, best we can do is start over. I kind of honestly had a feeling when I was doing it the first time, like, girlfriend, you were putting too much in. Think cake. Don't do it. But, you know, I really should listen to that little voice. Alright, I don't know. Let's see if we can get 1 more. Get my spatula. And for this one, I'm going to just put some in there. And there we go. Okay, so I didn't have enough to do a full batch, but we will attempt to get 6 Twinkies out of this. So this is going to go back into our 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. Pray to God I filled it right this time. All right, so Twinkies are done. I got 6 that were good. And it actually looks like a Twinkie. So I'm pretty pretty happy with this right now. It says that you need to let them cool completely, which I did. These are nice and cold. And now we're gonna mix up our filling. See if the Twinkie's really a Twinkie. Okay, because we did not get a full batch of our Twinkies, it's still so cute, I love it. Since we did not get the full batch, I'm actually going to half the recipe for the filling because I don't need that much right now. Once I taste this and see how everything goes, I will probably be making these again this weekend to get more. But for now, I'm just gonna half the recipe. So I'm going to put half, quarter cup of butter, 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2.5 cups of confectioner's sugar, 4 ounces of Cool Whip, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. That is the recipe halved, which should be fine for the Twinkies I'm gonna make. So let's get everything together in our bowl and mix this up. This is my homemade confectionery sugar. So easy to do. All you do is take granulated sugar and you put it in a blender and you just blend it till it turns into powdered dust. You don't need any fancy dancy blenders. In fact, I find the cheap ones actually work really good. But that's how you make your own confectionery sugar, which is what I do for my cake business. So I'm going to measure out 2.5 cups and add it to the rest of the ingredients. Don't sweat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There's 1. There's 2. It's my husband poking around. He wants a Twinkie.
Pretty soon, I hope.
And 1 more.
Looking pretty good.
I hope so. Made a little mess over here, but I usually do. So, now we're just gonna add this over here to the blender and get it mixed up. Okay, let's get this going slowly. Oh, that's looking good. Smelling pretty darn good too. Can you see it? Creamy, creamy middle. That whipped up quite nicely. Okay. Do a taste test. That tastes like a Twinkie filling. Oh, this is gonna be good. So, one of the best parts about owning a custom cake business is I have every tip and bag and trick you could imagine, including a filling tip, which you will need to fill your Twinkies. And I'm just gonna use a pastry bag, a disposable one. So, little trick when you have your pastry bags and your tips, whether you're decorating a cake, filling a Twinkie, whatever you're doing, you want to place your tip into the bag and you want to push it all the way in. Then you take your scissors and you just go around the edge, pull that off. There you have it. It's ready to be filled, safely in there, good to go. So let's fill this bag and fill some Twinkies. When you want to fill your pastry bags, you want to fold over a cuff because that gives you something to hold on to. Take your filling, plop it in there, use your fingers to pull it off. Super big plop. In, push, pull, fold your end up, tap it down, then you also want to squeeze it down so that everything goes in to the bottom and you now have a nice piping bag to use. So, if you've ever seen the bottom of a Twinkie, you'll notice that they fill it in 3 spots. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna insert the again, take your Twinkie, insert the tube on an angle, give it a good squeeze. You'll actually see it kind of blowing it up a little bit, which is how you'll know to stop. You're going to go in the middle. And then we're going to go on this end. There's a second one. Let's do one more together, and then I'm just going to whip through the rest of these. Three perfect little holes. Right, this is our last Twinkie. So again, one on the end. Give it a good squeeze. You can watch it fill up. Take it out. Same thing in the middle. And on the end. Easy. We have Twinkies. And I am so glad I halved that because I have this much left over, which is going to go in the fridge. And I'm going to absolutely make more Twinkies this weekend to use this up because I don't want to waste this. So let me plate these and I'll bring you right back. How amazing do these look? I think it's time to get my husband and try these. See what he has to think. That's good. All right, moment of truth. We're gonna feed the husband a Twinkie.
All of them.
No, just pick one. Is it good? Does it taste like an actual Twinkie? Because I actually think the middle tastes a little different, but absolutely delicious.
I like the outside better than the regular one.
You like the outside of the Twinkie better than an original Twinkie? Is it good? Would you like me to make them again in like a big batch?
Yes, I think they're better than the store ones.
Better than the store ones?
I want a little more filling though inside.
You want me to stuff yours with some filling right now?
Well, I don't know.
Look at, watch. He wants more filling, he's gonna get it. Give me that Twinkie.
Oh, see, there you go.
Well, it's hard to gauge what you're filling up when you do it.
That's better. Because there's a little bit.
Like a little space, like of just the cake with no cream.
Yeah, just gotta fill them up just a little bit more. That's really good.
Well, I would say that these are a hit.
Yep.
He approves.
I'll eat them later. It'll be a nice snack.
He's not kidding. They will be gone in the morning, which is fine. Because I have that whole bag of filling, like I said, that I need to use up. I will not, look at this. This is half of the recipe. That's a lot of filling. I'm gonna put this in the fridge and I'm gonna make more of these this weekend because I really feel like the grandbabies are gonna love that too.
If I can just squish this out somewhere and just kind of eat it like frosting. That'll work too.
I go through this even when I'm making cakes. Want me to just open your mouth and squeeze it in?
Yeah, maybe later. I can fit a little bit more. Carry on.
So there we have it. Homemade Twinkies with my husband's approval. Guarantee the grandbabies will love them. What did I learn from this one? Well, I learned don't fill the pans up too high. I learned to add more cream filling. And after tasting this, there are some differences and some changes that I think I would make next time around. I think I would use less of the cream cheese and amp up a little bit more of the confectionery sugar. It's a delicious taste, and like my husband said, he prefers this over a store-bought Twinkie. But I would just go a little lighter on the cream cheese and a little bit more up with the confectionery sugar, and I think that would be absolutely perfect. So, Twinkies, homemade. It does not get any better than that. I'm actually very pleased with how this turned out. Very surprised that it turned out so good. Grateful that I did not destroy my oven with that mess. It was an easy cleanup because I keep an oven mat on the bottom, so that was perfect. And yeah, I will make these again. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me this evening as we tried out our homemade Twinkie recipe. If you like what you saw, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel so you never miss anything. You don't want to miss what I'm going to bring to the table this year. Things are just starting to get good. We're going to wrap up our January really soon. I'm trying to think of something super good to do. I'd like to get in 2 more January videos specifically for that. And then we can move on to some other fun things I want to share with you guys. My dining room makeover is one of them. A couple pieces of furniture are going to be made over to go into the dining room. And I'm really excited about that. So, again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you saw, share. That way you keep me in that loop and it'll pop up for others to see and enjoy. And I will see you guys next time.